Hello, my name is Russell Myers. Welcome to Issues Unite. Sorry I meant to put this video out yesterday, but honestly, I wasn't feeling so great. Anyway, this is the second video that I had referenced before, that this is challenging the perception of society, and especially in these current times right now. There's been a lot of focus lately on unions. And, Joe Biden says that he is in favor of unions. But I want to challenge the definition of union here. So, every time that we talk about unions, it's always about workers' unions. It's always all about capitalism, about production, producing something that makes a profit for a capitalist. We all already belong to a union. All of us, every one of us. The children, the elderly, the disabled, we are all part of a union. We live in the United States. Every year, the president gives a speech, which is termed the State of the Union. This is not directed at workers specifically or capitalists. It is directed at all Americans. Supposed to be. So why do we talk about unions only including workers? I have brought up the fact before that when you've got tens of millions of Americans that are not working, well, how are they going to become members of a union? If you have, if you are not working at all, how are you a member of a union? We've still got right to work laws that limit your ability to even negotiate in a union. Also look at how unions work. The way historically unions worked was that if they were negotiating for workers' rights, every union member had a voice. You didn't just vote for a union president or what have you, and then let them make every decision for you. When an issue came up, when there were negotiations, all the workers had a say. And there's also been a movement lately regarding, direct democracy. We have the technology that where things come up on a national level, such as legalizing marijuana, increasing wages, universal health care. We have the technology where every American could have the potential to have their voice heard on these issues. Instead, it's all, our voices are heard through polls. Who runs the polls? Most of the time, most of the polls are run by capitalist entities that have something to gain by this. And most of those polls I've criticized for years on the methodology of the polls, the wording of the questions, that, so many of the polls take place by landlines. And who still has a landline but older people, conservatives, and centrists, ones that are not all that, adept at new technology, whereas more progressive-minded people are more likely to have cell phones and, be on computers, tablets, what have you. so many younger people especially, they communicate electronically. But the fact is that we are at a point in history, more and more jobs are being eliminated because of automation. And I put out a video before stating that within our lifetime, the entire supply chain is likely to be automated. From planting, tilling fields, planting fields, harvesting food, delivering it to the food processing plant, processing it, packaging it, the trucking, the sales, everything's going to be automated. And where do worker rights come in when there are no workers? I'm a big proponent of UBI, but UBI does not provide for rights. I find it, some people think that people that don't contribute to the capitalist system basically should have no rights. I find this to be not only apathetic, but sadistic. I mean, even in our current world, children, the disabled, the elderly, their very existence creates many jobs. Children need child care and education. The disabled need health care, the elderly, in many respects, whether completely autonomous themselves or needing medical care. Without all this, how many millions of jobs would not exist? And without a socialist system funding them, who would pay for those jobs? And without those jobs, you also lose millions, tens of millions of consumers, taxpayers. You don't just replace this out of thin air. The capitalist system cannot solve problems that the capitalist system has created. If the capitalist system eliminates jobs, the capitalist system is not going to create more jobs. The point was to eliminate those jobs, to eliminate the cost of labor. That is the whole point. That is the point of automation. So we're going to have to redefine our society to adapt to reality. We're not going to stop technology, and to a point, we shouldn't. But we're going to have to redefine productivity. We're going to have to redefine the value, how we consider the value of one another. But when we talk about, unions, we need to realize we are all part of a union. And we need to push the idea to our elected officials and all the way up to the president and beyond to his bosses that we are part of a union and we do have rights and we have a say in our own well-being, the health of our society, whether we have a say, we should have a say in whether wages increase, and whether we have access to health care without going bankrupt, whether we are going to be evicted from our homes, whether we are going to declare war on another country. So we, as a society, have to evolve our view on this. When we talk about a union, it is not just workers. It is not just a capitalist concern. It involves far more, and capitalism is only a part of that. Now, some people may not find this such a radical idea, but believe me, if you start talking about it in this way, you're going to find how many people around you find it a radical idea. And they will fight against it. The capitalist system will fight against it. They don't want anyone that is not directly contributing to their profits to have any say in how this system works. They want to dictate how this system works. The elected officials that are, slaves to the current system may give you lip service, but they don't want more voices having a say in how this system works. It detracts from their power. Share this video. Talk about these subjects. Far and wide, talk about these subjects. If you can, please donate $1 a month and help expand the channel, and I will catch you in the next one. And yes, this needs to be a movement.